can a tattoo artist use any image they find online without permission or without paying for the copyright? So it's a question that plagues tattoo artists. Everyone is like, where did you get that image from? When someone brings you an image and you're like, am I straight up stealing this from somebody? Well, when realism artists and tattoo artists in general use an image that's a photograph of, let's say, like a famous musician or something, you usually look up, images of them. It's almost never considered stealing when a tattoo artist uses a photographer's work to do a realism tattoo. And that's like a tattoo whose goal is to perfectly recreate that photo as closely as possible. That's the nature of realism. Now, there's different types of realism. There's realism artists that are heavily stylizing things. You look at them and you're like, they have their own way they do realism. For example, at Mondo Millie, Mondo does his portraits and they look like Mondo did them. But other people who are extremely technically skilled, no one would argue that, mind-blowingly good at doing tattoos, like realism tattoos, are doing these photographs exactly as the photograph. No change at all, like literally nothing. So this is the situation that led to the biggest tattoo trial in tattoo history of all time. And that's actually this Monday. That is July 14th, 2025. And the Ninth Circuit Court in Pasadena, federal court, 3 judges, is going to rule on this appeals case whether Kat Von D was able to use this photo that Jeff Sedlik took and owns the copyright to without paying for it, without asking for permission, or if she is owed, like if she did commit copyright infringement, she didn't constitute the fair act or fair use rule and owes Jeff for damages. So this is a really big decision. So this all started when Kat did this tattoo and she posted it on Instagram. So her account is monetized. She's, obviously a professional influencer, really big deal. Influencers make millions of dollars off of their Instagram. One brand deal will pay as much as $5,000 just for a single hard post on Instagram. That gives you some scale of reference. So Kat, even though she said she did the tattoo for free on a friend, and wasn't using the tattoo to run ads, was still posted on a business account and furthered her monetization, right? She was making money off of her page. So Jeff Sedlik is a really solid dude. Jeff is for the people. On my life, you can look it up. I will prove it to you, but you can also look it up. Jeff is an advocate for independent artists getting, he's an advocate for keeping independent artists from getting their artwork stolen. He's an advocate for, he goes and testifies and as expert testimony in trials over copyright. And he even he's the CEO and founder of the Plus Coalition. That's a nonprofit. He doesn't make any money from it. And the whole goal is like a global free registry to where you actually can upload your photographs, and it'll include metadata. And then now if you ever go on Google and you hover your little cursor over an image, you'll see a little thing pop up now. And it'll be all the metadata and it'll link you to that artist and you can license that photo from them. Jeff did that. And among other things, also, Jeff is so he's all about educating artists on copyright law, including tattoo artists. And he, most of the time, he'll see an artist using his work. He's also a professor in Pasadena, right? So think of his position. He does expert testimony. He's an advocate. He has Plus Coalition and he's a professor. So you have this huge, big name tattoo artist using his work without permission. He absolutely cannot let that slide. It undermines everything he's built. And what he usually does, though, when he sees artists, he sends them an email and he's like, yo, I do retroactive licenses. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding, and a lot of times he said artists usually are just like, whoa, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. And then when it's like that, Jeff almost always is just like, yo, don't worry about it. It's cool. And just uses it as a teachable moment and an opportunity to work with that artist and educate them. And that's just what he's on. Right. So when he reached out to Kat, he sent an email. She didn't get back. Sent an email again, didn't get back. Emailed the shop, didn't get back. And I can't remember what finally happened, but he got a hold of her. And then basically it was just like, you know, get paid. You know what I mean? She was just like, you know, how dare you? And I'll see you in court. I wonder if at the time when she said, I'll see you in court, she knew she was talking to like the leading expert as expert testimony in copyright cases in courtrooms. And like, oh man, talk about like swing and a miss, man. So anyway, but he lost the trial. That was in January. That drug out for a long time. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. Case goes to court on January 2025 in downtown LA. A jury of 8 people ruled in favor of Kat Von D and ruled in favor that she was not, you know, infringing upon this artwork, that it constituted as fair use. And it was a little unusual to have a jury for that. You know what I mean? Normally you have a judge rule. But anyways, this is why that case didn't really matter though. When you have a jury, that does not enter case law. It doesn't affect the rest of the country and the rest of the law. So like, no matter how that case ended up, it wasn't going to impact the lives of tattoo artists. But now it went through appeals, and now it's an appeals court, a Ninth Circuit court in Pasadena federal court. Now, when you go to that court, like case law is built on federal judges like writing recommendations and like stuff. So like these are the exact kind of cases that set case law and precedent. So this is going to really affect tattoo artists everywhere. And, you know, we're going to be there covering it. So I'll have to make sure to post an update. I'm really excited, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be like, you know, popping champagne bottles and celebrating. It's not really like that, but I think, you know, what happens either way. So if Jeff Sedlik wins, this is a win for small independent artists being able to protect their IP and from getting poached from big influencers or big corporations. If Kat Von D wins, it just further reinforces the status quo. Realism artists can take whatever they want from any artist online without consequences. And that's okay now, but what does that mean for future artists? So let's say, you know, Kat Von D wins. She's just making it like that really would make it so much harder for small artists to defend themselves. Because if tattoo artists are saying we don't count in the circle of all the other rules, you know, our thing is like separate, and we can take that stuff and it doesn't count because like when it goes on the skin, it doesn't count anymore. That goes both ways. So that's going to set a bad precedent, and that could hurt a lot of small artists going on to the future. And if Jeff wins, all we're really going to see is like, so what's going to happen? We're going to see more tattoo tickets being sold, more collaboration, communication between tattoo artists and other artists. We're going to likely see artists start including in their waivers, especially realism artists, a clause that says their client is responsible for attaining the copyright for the tattoo. A lot of times artists are just going to push that responsibility off onto the client. If they get sued, you got to, you know, take it up with my client, right? So we'll probably see a lot of that. And overall, like, it'll just be really slow grind. It's not going to be a huge shift. There's not going to be a bunch of tattoo artists getting sued. It's not going to be like that at all. I think we are going to see a slow growth in the licensing economy within the tattoo industry, a positive growth. We're going to see tattoo artists working with photographers more, working with smaller artists, reposting each other's work, doing licensing deals. We're going to see tattoo artists working more with fashion brands as licensing becomes more standard, as tattoo artists learn more about it, it becomes normal practice. We're going to see the tattoo economy grow. This is another way we're going to grow and spread, make it more wholesome. And it'll be a slow burn. It's not going to happen all at once, but it's the kind of shit we need for a positive change for the future. So in conclusion, I obviously am Camp Jeff. I also submitted a amicus brief. If you're familiar, I'll make sure I link that in the description. It is, you know, Friends of the Court is what it stands for. And it's when you submit with like some attorneys a letter to the judges, basically, that advocates for one of the other people involved in the trial. I submitted one along with Johnny G and Maxine Plechabuki, and then Kat Von D had like, you know, one submitted too. But we were the tattoo artists, the only tattoo artists that submitted an amicus brief, and we were in favor of Jeff. So what does that tell you? No shade in my heart to Kat Von D. This has nothing to do with Kat Von D. Kat, if you're watching this, seriously, no shade. I literally have no beef like with this stuff. Like, these are just industry norms. Everyone's just trying to survive. You know, a lot of realism artists feel like this is stealing food out of their kids' mouths. Like, this is like them protecting themselves in the industry from the legal system that's like abused them for hundreds of years. And I get where everyone's coming from, but really it's got nothing to do with that. It's not personal. It's about protecting the future of young artists, and not just tattoo artists, but young photographers, young visual artists. Like, this is about building community and building a more wholesome future together. So nothing personal at all. Literally no shade. Like, you're strict, like, you built something incredible, and respect. Um, so yeah, uh, in conclusion, probably it would be insane if the court ruled in favor of Kat Von D. I mean, Jeff's gonna win, right? Like, so many legal analysts have weighed in on this. And when the jury ruled in favor of Kat Von D, it was like a huge upset. A bunch of people wrote about it. They were like, "This is cognitive dissonance, legally incoherent" was my favorite one I read. Legally incoherent, contradictory. So anyway, it just didn't make any sense, the ruling, man, because this is cut and dry. Copyright law isn't that complicated. It sounds complicated, but there's so much like legal precedent already that is actually like, it's pretty actually laid out pretty specifically. These things have been hammered out. So looking forward to seeing it. I wonder if there's anything else. Make sure we have a poll running, and I'm going to keep it up indefinitely on who you think, if you think that tattoo artists should have to pay for images they find online or not. So I would love it if you weighed in on that poll. I'm going to be updating the results, and that's at underblast.substack.com, and sign up for our newsletter. Every day at 8 a.m. we release our newsletter, an underground tattoo newsletter. So with all the juicy gossip every day, so that you can read before on your way to the shop. You can read in the morning on your way into the shop, so comment any questions, right? Oh, and thanks for tuning in, and stay dangerous. Stay safe. Stay tough, Yeah. All right. Thank you.